Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for once again being here for the BCR Technique 30-day challenge, and we are on day number 13. So, yesterday we were able to go through the full BCR Technique demonstration, and you are learning how to incorporate heart rate variability as the second phase of breathing as you move from active calmness into subtle calmness. And then of course we go into the reinforcement space, and we start creating our love environment, right? And we start accumulating all of that love energy. So again, as this is day number 13, and if you guys have been with me since the very beginning, which I'm sure most of you are, you're starting to feel the incorporation of the love energy working through your heart daily. Again, it's a really good recommendation to start this in the morning, right? Just before you start your day. Like I said, if you need to exercise, if you need to get yourself a little bit active, you need to have a shower, whatever it may be, just getting yourself ready. But to really finalize that readiness, start with the BCR technique in the morning, right? That's what I would suggest. And like I said, if you want to do this multiple times per day, by all means, feel free to do so. You're only going to keep feeling love. So it's no detriment whatsoever, right? So create a pattern, right? This is really what we're doing here through the 30-day BCR Technique Challenge, is we're developing a pattern. We're understanding how we tick. We're understanding what makes us tick, right? We're realizing our patterns. We're basically creating a map for ourselves. And this is the BCR map. So you really get to know yourself when you realize what it is within yourself that brings you love. And that's what's great about the reinforcement space. The reinforcement space is telling you, this is what I love, this is what I adore, this is what brings me happiness, this is what brings me joy, this is what brings me bliss, right? And of course, we're also getting to know ourselves by, again, working together with our check-in list, right? So we're able to look at these things and say, what is it that I'm experiencing physically? What is it that I'm experiencing emotionally? What is it that I'm experiencing mentally, right? So this is really just a simple practice to helping you understand yourself. And as you understand yourself, you realize the conflicts that you've been going through physically, emotionally, and mentally. And now we're doing the practice, working with the breath work, going into our calmness, and then going into our reinforcement space, and now actually being able to feel ourselves bringing in love. And as we bring in that love, we bring in that happiness, we bring in that joy, we bring in that bliss, it's filling our heart up, right? We have that gauge. And now we're feeling that height, right? We're going above Mount Olympus. We're living above the gods because we feel our godliness ourselves. Goes back to what I've said years ago, that you are gods in training, right? This is really the whole idea, is that you're training yourself right now to be godly. You're training yourself now to be eternal, to be infinite, to have eternal life. And this is what you're learning, is you're learning how to live through the heart. Because that's what BCR Technique teaches you. Like I said, it's not fully non-dual because we are working with the mind, but it's a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone that's taking you towards living in a non-dual life, because that's the true life. That's the true living. So to live through the heart, again, is to just remember, to recall, to realize all of the accumulated love energy that I've put into the heart. When I've gone into my reinforcement space and I see this beautiful environment that unfolds, again, I'm not creating it out of curiosity. I'm creating it because this is my love energy. This is what my heart is telling me I love. It's a forest, it's a beach, it's a meadow, it's a summit of a mountain, right? It's outer space, whatever it may be. It's a cottage, it's a beautiful old house, it's a mansion, whatever it may be. And all of this environment that you create, as I said, it's all pervasive, right? You are able to connect to every part of your environment and bond with it as one. And now you're feeling that love. And it's really, really important that we do this, right? We're working together with our environment. And a lot of it can be subconsciously created as well too, right? We can say a beautiful metal, and all of a sudden a beautiful metal in its intricate details becomes created, right? We didn't create every single blade of grass consciously. It just basically streamed, right? And now we just go in and we start creating all of these different love aspects within the environment. Maybe we create some crystals, right? We see those beautiful crystals shining. Maybe again, we see beautiful animals, luminescent, right? And we're able to connect with those animals, whatever it may be. We're seeing particles in the air, sprinkles in the air, glitter in the air, a light mist in the air, and that represents the love energy. And now we're breathing that in. We're breathing it in through the nose, we're breathing in through the pores of our skin, and it's collecting directly into the heart. And then again, we measure it. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger until we can't stretch out our hands anymore. And then we're bringing it in. We have that ball. We put it into the heart. As we do that, for those who are performing this, you have your love energy entity coming through. And now you can talk to that representative. So again, as we do this more and more, like I said, we're on day number 13. And if you guys have been doing this for 13 days, you're really getting the hang of it now, because I'm seeing that now in the Telegram group, right? If you guys have not joined the Telegram group yet, not yet, then what I would suggest is go down to the video description and click on the link to join the Telegram group, right? Got well over 100 people there, and getting a lot of people sharing their feedback, their success stories about the BCR technique. In fact, I'm going to see if I can read a couple of them out. I'll keep the names anonymous. But let me just go to 30-day challenge, because again, I've seen a lot of people just go through a lot of changes here. It's been amazing. I'm just kind of reading into this a bit. Okay, so person who's been doing it since day 12, they feel so blessed and grateful. They're excited to know how to return home and remain in the physical body. It's great, right? I'm seeing these people just come alive, right? There was a person in that sense whose grandmother recently passed as well too, and she went in and basically blessed her grandmother back into a peaceful transition. Her grandmother came to her and told her that she's happy, she's peaceful, right? And again, this is what BCR technique does. It makes you confident, right? It brings you into such confidence, and you connect with the spirit world naturally. Spirit listens to you, okay? And like I said, since I started developing the BCR technique, and I started working with it every day during the time of its inception, yeah, if you guys want to go to the Telegram link, go to the video description, okay? So go to the video description below here, on this video, click on the video description, and below you'll see the 30-day challenge BCR Technique Telegram group. Okay, click on that link. The link is already in the video description. Okay. So again, like I said, as I was developing the BCR technique and as I started doing this, my connection to spirit was growing, right? You just noticed this. You can actually talk to spirit. You talk to spirit and spirit talks to you, right? This is where you are spirit. This is why I say it's about us being one. I am spirit, right? But again, you can go on the Telegram group and you see a lot of people just starting to give their success stories about the BCR technique, where they were when they first started. They may have been skeptic about it. They may have felt that they were just down in the dumps at first, and then they start doing this, and a few days later, they're turning themselves completely around. They say, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that something like this existed. I didn't know that I was capable of doing these things. And now I feel like my life is coming together, right? That's very common from what I'm hearing on the Telegram group. It's a wonderful thing to witness. It makes me very, very happy because, like I said, when I first put out the BCR technique, not a lot of people were doing it, right? And then that's when I discovered, through the previous weeks, through New Earth TV Live, where someone was saying that, Brad, we need you as a coach. Like, let's do a 30-day challenge, and you can coach us through this, and that will help. And that's really been the difference maker here, right? And I understand that a lot of you guys need inspiration, a lot of you guys need coaching, and that's why I'm doing this entire series of the 30-day challenge, right? And it's not going to stop there. We're going to continue to do a lot more work, right? We're going to continue to do a lot more things after the 30-day challenge as well, as the new earth practices comes together. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is just living through the heart. So like I said, this is something that you're going to fall into naturally as you start doing this day by day by day by day, right? All you have to do is continue to follow the technique, right? Do it at least once a day, right? Whether you're doing it in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. I recommend the morning, but it's entirely up to you. I'm just going to put my earphones on because we got some lawnmowers going off outside. A little bit easier for me to hear. Okay. So like I said, I recommend you guys doing it in the morning, right? And just getting yourself a good fresh start. That love energy is now contained within you, and it continues to grow throughout the day, right? Like I said, whenever we meet hostile people, whenever we're in volatile situations in that sense, it comes back to us, right? We point outside and saying, oh, that person was a jerk, right? Or I'm in this horrible event, I'm in this horrible situation. What's going on here? It's a situation's fault. Right? We keep pointing to the outside. And what is that? That represents the outside living. That represents living on the outside, right? You think everything is happening to you from outside, but that's not the true way, right? We all fall into this. We get caught up in the melodrama because of what we see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. Our 5 sense reality is telling us, oh, this is what's happening in the world. No, it's not. You're constantly looking at the world of effect. You're not looking at the cause. When I'm looking at this screen right now, talking to all of you, I'm not looking at the cause, right? I'm not looking at this monitor. I'm not looking at this screen and saying, oh, everything outside here is happening to me. No, that is a great misconception. That is misinformation. We're misinformed. Everything that's happening to me is from within. It is based upon frequency. It is based upon vibration. It is based upon magnetism. So as we live from inside, because now we've gone inside and we're cleaning ourselves up, right? This is what we're doing through the check-in list, right? How are we feeling physically, emotionally, mentally, right? And now we go into that and we start cleaning it out because we are accumulating love energy, right? We're going into that reinforcement space and we're making our love energy manifest. And we're bringing it into ourselves, and now we start doing a cleaning, right? And it's like I said yesterday, when we were doing the BCR Technique demonstration, when we came to the belief system, what is it that we're doing? We're not trying to be Sherlock Holmes, and we're not trying to use deductive reasoning to cleanse ourselves. That's wrong. That's not what we're doing. What we are doing is we are teaching ourselves how to be absent of something that ails us, something that bothers us, something that's conflicting with us. Can I imagine a situation where I am absent from that belief system? Well, yes, I can. Here it is, right? And we talk it out. And now we say, what does it feel like that I'm absent of that belief system? It feels great. The shackles have fallen off. I'm completely free. And now you apply that to yourself. You cross out that belief system. You say it's no longer there, right? So now is it possible that I can move into that reality that I've just been able to envision? Yes, it's possible. Great. Now I talk to my love energy. Now I talk to my entity. Let it be done. All right. And now I feel myself absent of that. And now I'm going to work with my actions to show that I am completely absent of that belief system that once ailed me, right? That's yourself setting yourself free. That's living through the heart. Now again, if we continually do that every single day for a span of a couple weeks, for a span of a couple months, you will be completely free of any problem whatsoever. I can guarantee that. All right? That's what you're doing. You're living through the heart, and all you're doing is you're editing, right? You're editing out these conflicts through the heart. Because all I need to do to edit is see the probable reality of me being absent from that conflict physically, emotionally, mentally, right? So if I am absent from that conflict and I can see myself in a reality, a probable reality where that exists, now I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to work with my love energy and say, love energy, I see this reality, this probable reality, where I'm completely free of this belief system. Let's do it. Let's work together on this. Let's clear it out. Let it be done. Okay? So now the love energy is going to work in you. So now your next responsibility is to take action. And you're taking action based upon that probable reality that you have seen because you have made absent that conflict, representing where you feel that you were impaired by belief system, by emotion, by a physical problem, whatever it may be. So again, all we're doing is we're making it absent. We're basically just Xing it out and saying, no, that's not the reality that I prefer. I'm going to go into this reality. I'm going to feel myself completely free of that conflict. That conflict is going to be completely absent from me. And I cross it out. And as I cross it out, I see this new reality. I see myself, what I'm like in there. I love this person. So now I'm moving into that. And the love energy is helping me, going in that direction every step of the way. That is heart living. That's living from the inside. You don't need deductive reasoning when you're coming into clearing yourself. That's an outside trait. Okay? There's a time and a place with that. You can play around with it. But not when it comes to you working with yourself, to cleaning yourself, to sanitizing yourself, to bringing yourself into the heart. Logic doesn't play a part, right? All we're doing pertaining to logic is that it's helping us to see this new reality that we come into, and we are now the probable body of, and now we want to turn that probability into a definite, right? And that comes through our actions, right? Or I once felt again that my parents didn't accept me or my family didn't accept me because I felt I was lacking in love. But here I am filled with love, and all I need to ask myself is, do I love them? Of course. Well, then that's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to focus on, is just bringing love to them. I'm not concerned whether I need love back from them, because now I know where love comes from. I now know where happiness comes from. It comes from me. And so I'm just going to continue to bring them love, regardless of what they're thinking of me, because that's the very chain that shackled me. I was shackled because I thought that I needed to be loved back. But I know now that love doesn't come from the outside, right? If I'm looking at my parents, I see them in the room with me. My love's not coming from them. My love's coming from me. It's coming from within me. So why would I think that I would need love from them on the outside for me to obtain love? You see how that's an illusion? And I break that down. So now the probable reality is telling me, oh my goodness, yes, I can just be a loving person. And it does not matter about if my parents love me back or not. I just love them. You're free, right? And now as you're constantly giving love to your parents, your family, your extended family, your friends, your acquaintances, etc., your reality is going to be that Rubik's Cube. The love is going to shift it. And now all of a sudden you're noticing all this love coming back to you. You're getting phone calls from your family. And again, some marvelous things can happen, right? We cannot really predict what Spirit will do for you. But it's going to be something wonderful, because all you're bringing out of you is love towards your space. You're living in the non-dual, right? That's what it is. The BCR technique is the stepping stone. And when you start taking actions because your love is so radiant within yourself, you're moving into the non-dual reality. You're living as happiness. You're living as love. You're living as creator, right? The body and the mind are your servants. They're your tools now, because you're living through here. All love has always come through within me. It's in here. It's not through my dog. It's not through my mom. It's not through my dad. It's not through my brother, my sister, my wife, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, right? Those that represent love to me, I have assigned that. The people who are special, who are precious to me in life, I have assigned that. It's not just something that just falls out of the sky at random. You have allotted who is your love circle in your life. You have made it happen. You are giving these people love. You are providing happiness to those people, radiating out like a magnetic field. It's always been you, right? So now you are out of the illusion of feeling that love is outside. It's not. It's a projection of love, yes. When we're with our mom, with our dad, we are seeing a projection of our love because it's no more different than the reinforcement space. What does the reinforcement space do for you? It's bringing everything that represents love into manifested reality. Well, gee, that's what's happening here. That's what's happening in physical reality. Sure, it's dense and it's solid, right? It's more base, but nonetheless, that's what's happening. I have my circle of loved ones, and I created this circle from inside, and now it radiates outside like an image, right? It's my reinforced space. So, Brad, are you saying that everything that represents my love is from inside and that nothing outside in me is where love comes from? That's right. Love from the outside is your radiance. It's your projection. Everything inside that is love, that is happiness, that is joy, that is bliss, all comes from within you. You are the core. You are the beholder of that love, right? So this is what's relinquishing all of these problems: physical body, emotional body, mental body. Because now we realize I'm the love holder. I behold the love. I'm the one that created my love circle. I'm the one that has decided that all of these people in my life are precious to me. I have made that decision. It goes back to my youth. It goes back to when I was a little kid. Absolutely. Nonetheless, as a little kid, I still made that decision. There's my mom. I love my mom. There's my dad. I love my dad. There's my brother. I love my brother. There's my sister. I love my sister. And I got older. I got married. There's my husband. There's my wife. I love them. And I had children. And there's my children. I love my children. And there's my grandchildren. I love my grandchildren, right? And it goes on and on and on and on. It's your circle. Everything that represents the preciousness to you has been bestowed through you based upon you feeling love from the inside, right? That is living through the heart. And that's what we're learning to do. We are keeping ourselves there. We're keeping ourselves contently happy, contently loving through the heart, and we're walking the earth as heart-centered beings. Now you're walking the earth as a God, because that's what we do. We realize that we are one with Spirit. I am Spirit, right? It's not saying, oh, I'm connected to Spirit, I have access to Spirit. Yes, you have all of that, but you are Spirit. And Spirit listens to you. And you now listen to Spirit because your heart's opening up, right? So now if there's somebody that you feel is in pain, it's like I said yesterday, bring them into your reinforcement space. And again, they're shivering, they're shaking, they're filled with fear. And now you feel their projection inside your reinforcement space. And your interaction with them feels as real can be. And you're just holding out your hand. And they take your hand. And you embrace them with a warm hug. And you're just saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And they admit to you, no one has ever cared. No one has ever cared how I feel. And you're doing this. Thank you so much, right? And there's that golden moment. It's that beautiful love that you are freely giving. And that changes a person's life. No, you are seeing their projection. You're seeing their hologram in your reinforcement space. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel it because your feelings towards them is true. This experience is true. And that's going to reflect back upon them. So you do not even have to do any form of physical interacting. Your interacting can be done completely through your reinforcement space because you are in that low, subtle state where, again, right, everything is still, the ocean is still, and you are vivid relating to your reinforcement space. Now you bring anybody into your reality and you cover them with this pure love, this pure happiness, this pure joy, because where does love come from? Inside me. I am love. I am happiness. I am joy. I am compassion. And so I radiate that out. I radiate that to everybody that comes into my space that I feel I can just pop them in. And that's all I do. I pop them right into my space. Here they are. They're sitting in a chair, right? And they're shivering. They're afraid, or they're angry. They're enraged, right? And all you're doing is you're commanding your reinforcement space to saturate them with your love, right? And now you can feel it, right? Like I said, if there's a light mist in your space, if there's particles, if there's glitter, whatever it may be, if there's animals in your space, they're coming up to that person and they're just snuggling with that person. If there's angels in your space, the angels are coming in and they're just shining that beam of love towards that person. And now you come in, right? Your environment shows that person love, and now you come in and you show that person love. And you just stay with that person and you shine that light and you show that compassion. That's what's going to make a difference. That's what's going to shift you into realizing I'm living in the heart space. I'm living a non-dual life. That's all it is, right? We constantly get swept up about what's happening in the outside world, right? This, again, is the reflection of the collective consciousness. Everything that's happening right now, with COVID, with masks, with vaccines, with all that stuff, it's a reflection of the collective consciousness. It's a reflection of people's fears. It's a reflection of people's anger. It's a reflection of people's uncertainty. It's a reflection of people's concerns. It's a reflection of people's resolves. It's a big soup, right? It's a giant soup with all of these different forms of magnetisms in it. You're not responsible for the collective, right? So when you start living through the heart space, you'll meet people through all walks of life, right? You're not going to be immune to not meeting people who are suffering. Of course, you're going to meet people who are suffering, but you're not suffering anymore. And what do? You invite those people into your space. You can do some physical work with them if you wish, but just bring them into your reinforcement space. See them pop in. Let your reinforcement space cover them. Let them be saturated. Let them be embraced by the love of your reinforcement space. Make this real. Make this vivid. And therefore you come in and you embrace that person. And now they can feel it. They can't quite explain it, but they'll feel all this love that you are providing because you're making it real. Right? That's what we do. That's all we're here to do, is we just spread the love throughout the entire planet. And as more and more people feel this love, then they're going to start exploring. They may stumble through the BCR technique or something similar, and they will start looking into love a lot more. All right? So the important thing here is that you are unaffected by the nature of what is happening on the outside, because you realize that's not where love comes from. That's not where any of my feelings come from. It does not come from the outside. It's all inside. I'm living inside and radiating outwards. I am not living outside and trying to compensate that inwards. That's backwards, right? That's like walking backwards. It's not going to work. So, got a large, long, loud lawnmower out there. It's all good. So again, as we start to bring this the right way around, right, we're living inside and we're radiating outwards. This is what's going to shift your reality entirely. This is, again, the non-dual living. This is how we're living through the heart. So please keep that in mind as you continue to do the BCR technique. Like I said, we're on day 13. We still got quite a bit more time to explore a lot more of the BCR technique, including the shortened version of it, which I'm going to be introducing tomorrow. All right, I'm going to be introducing some of the concept of the shortened BCR technique tomorrow. And then on day 15, we're going to practice the shortened version. Now, there's a prerequisite for the shortened version of the BCR technique. You have to do, again, at least the first 14 days of the standard BCR technique. Okay, so 2 weeks worth of BCR technique before you move on into the shortened version. Okay, I'll be explaining that more tomorrow, and then day 15 we'll have a demonstration of the shortened BCR technique. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just look at some questions. We have some questions here in the chat. All right, let me just take a moment. Good morning and good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Okay. Okay, Ellison says, does it help to do BCR at the sidereal time? You just basically do it whenever you feel you need to do it. Okay? It's not about putting it at a certain allotment where you say, I have to do it at 8 a.m., I have to do it at 9 a.m. It's not about having to do it at an appropriate time, right? It's doing it at a time that you feel is best. When you wake up in the morning and you feel active, regardless of what time it is, what phase it is, what alignment it is, doesn't matter. You're ready to do it, okay? The interesting thing as well, too, I notice when I'm doing these types of practices, I'll look at a clock and all of a sudden I'll see an 11:11, or I'll see a 10:10, or I'll see a 12:12, right? That just happens because that's me just synchronizing together with the number codes of reality that represents, again, alignment. When you really go through like a nice practice and you check your watch and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's 11:11. There's a synchronicity. It means you and your universe are conjunct. You're working together in harmony, right? So you finish this practice, you just did your BCR technique, you feel good, you're opening your eyes, all of a sudden you look at a clock, oh, it's 11:11, right? You synchronized, right? Your body, your mind, everything pertaining to your own time field is in sync, okay? Whenever we have those situations and we just look at a clock, right now it's 11:01, right? 111 while I'm talking, okay? That means our universalis is in sync, okay? Our universalis is in sync. What that means is, again, that's your universal template, right? That represents everything that is divine, everything that is true, everything that represents the completeness, the union of yourself as universalis is now in sync, right? So whether it's a 10:10, 11:11, 12:12, 1:11, etc., right? When you're just finishing doing something like this, or you're just doing a practice, right? You're doing a yoga session, right? Or you're doing a breathing technique, whatever it may be, and you just open your eyes and you see that, all of a sudden something, you just feel that's in sync. You're feeling completely in sync with the entire universe. Your universalis is in sync. So keep that in mind, all right? Samba says, I have been with you since the beginning. Thank you for the 30 days of interperception. Yes, we're only getting started. We're not even halfway through yet. So we got a lot more stuff to explore. All right. But thank you as well for being a part of it. Okay. Yeah, Allison says, bringing loved ones into my space had taught me to see them as their higher selves all the time. That's it. Because again, it's your interpretation of what those loved ones are, right? Those loved ones do not have a generic representation, right? Whenever you're looking at your mom and your dad, for example, you're seeing who they are to you, okay? Another person steps in and they see your mom and dad completely different than how you see them, right? So you are basically casting your projection through what you feel your mother represents to you and what your father represents to you. This is why there's really no such thing as heredity, right? Because we are only working with sympathetic resonance, okay? We don't actually have heredity in that way. That heredity is all part of a sympathetic resonance. Because we see our mom a certain way, because we see our dad a certain way, our body ingrains that. Remember I said that our body's like a map, right? So when we're born, we immediately start to imprint upon what we feel our mom represents and what our dad represents, what our siblings represent, etc. We imprint on that. And that imprint is the nature of sympathetic resonance. It's not heredity. There's no such thing, right? Heredity is a misinformation. It all comes through the idea of sympathetic resonance. So again, when you see your mom as a sweet angel in that way, your body is going to respond whenever you're in the presence of your mother that you are manifesting this form of a sweet angel, because that's how you see your mother. If you see your dad as kind of a stern fellow in that way, and your body is going to reciprocate that feeling, right? It's going to feel that there's going to be manifestations of sternness within yourself, or how you react to that sternness, and how your body in that sense appropriates itself as it is in the presence of something that you feel is stern and tight-lipped, right? Maybe a bit stubborn, right? And again, our body reciprocates that. So what's happening here with your mother and your father is you're aligned to their sympathetic resonance. It's a tuning fork. Dung, right? The tuning fork is resonating. And here's your tuning fork. And now you're resonating in kind based upon how you see your mother and your father. My mother's the angel. My dad's kind of the stern, stubborn one, right? So that is how I have put those imprints upon those two people. And now as long as I interact with their field, my body is going through changes. Because I'm interacting with their field, and because I see my mom as an angel, and I see my dad as a stern fellow, my body is going to reciprocate the nature of form based upon those impressions that I have given. Well, what happens if I change those impressions? Then my body will change in kind. You see? So if I see my mom as an angelic angel, but I notice that there's a sweetness to herself, maybe I feel like there's a greater innocence to herself that I'm seeing, right? So I'm moving kind of out of the angel and I'm seeing her more of an innocent essence in that way. My body will start changing because I'm starting to be around her a lot more. And that field, again, is creating a state of influence because that's the projection I'm putting upon my mother. She's becoming an innocent essence. If I look at my dad actually being very sweet and kind rather than stern and stubborn, and I now imprint that upon him, and I'm in his field a lot, my body is now going to start changing form because I'm reciprocal, I'm in sympathetic resonance to how I see my dad now. My dad is now a sweet, kind-hearted fellow, rather than me seeing him as being stubborn and arrogant and stern. So this is what actually reshapes our bodies. It's based upon the sympathetic resonance of our environment. The people in it and even the environment itself. If we feel that our environment is a dump and we don't really clean it at all, then again, our body is going to reciprocate that, right? It's everything just bouncing back together with us. It's the magnetic field. So the magnetic field of what we feel, our environment, oh, it's just a crappy house. I don't know why I have this thing. It's crappy and it's a dump and blah, 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 blah. And now our body is going to reciprocate that effect, right? Because we feel we live in a dive, in a trash hole. So again, our environment reflects back a sympathetic resonance, right? That is, again, the imprint that we have put together with our environment. It's a tuning fork, right? Oh, my place is just a dump. It's just a crap hole, right? And now I'm resonating in sympathy together with that. That's sympathetic resonance. If I change my environment, if I bring it into a clean haven, it's now an oasis. And now I know 100% it's an oasis. Well, here's a different vibration. And I'm living inside my house. And now the sympathetic resonance is influencing together with my own magnetic field coming back. My body is going to change. My physical form is going to change. Because now I'm moving into a beautiful oasis rather than a trash heap. Okay? All of these things correspond to the nature of sympathetic resonance. So when you start working with sympathetic resonance and get off the idea of heredity and genetics, because that's not really the truth. Our genetics, again, is mutable. We are always able to transform everything within ourselves. It is not finite. It is not like a block that cannot be changed. It's not a concrete block here. We are able to shape ourselves like clay. We have our basic template design, right? We're human. We're not going to grow a third or fourth or fifth eye. We're not going to grow a tentacle or anything of that nature, right? We have our genome. And we have certain forms of coded systems that represent the body as it is. But we can actually make our body healthier and actually show our different complexion, or we can make it much more deteriorating based upon the sympathetic resonance that we have within our reality. So this is why when you live through the heart, you're seeing everybody as love. You're seeing your space as love. You're seeing your mom and your dad as love. You're seeing your family, your extended family as love. You're seeing everybody on the street as love. You're seeing everything as the higher self. And now your body is going to start shifting in that way. You're going to notice that your cheekbones may start to shift. You may start to feel a change in your face, which has happened to me on constant occasions, right? especially through the youth body that I've demonstrated on the YouTube channel as well too, right? Your body is going to take a different shape because your body is malleable, truly. It has certain forms of principles to it that maintain it into a human form. And again, other particular principles that represent a genome template, but you can shift it, right? So the reason why we see our parents in that certain way is because of the imprints we've given them, the sympathetic resonance that we've given them. So that's another thing that you're going to learn as you go through the BCR technique. Change the imprints of the people you know that you know are not harmonious to you, right? So if you feel that your mother, for example, was a bully, get that out of yourself. Clean that out, right? So the first thing we do is we clean ourselves out. We clean ourselves out, we go through our own issues, and now we're going to start working together with family and friends and the people that, again, represent our love circle, okay? I love my mom, but she's a big bully. Okay, that's where you need to put a pin in it. Stop. Now we need to look into that, right? So if we know that our mom's a bully, we're going to change the perception of who she is, right? And that's going to be the next step. But right now you're working on yourself. As you work upon yourself, then you're going to start working on your olive branches that represent the people, the projections within your life that you feel, I don't like to talk to my dad, he's an a-hole. I don't want to talk to my mom, she's a bully. I don't like my brother and my sister, etc. Well, that's a problem, because that's the sympathetic resonance that you're putting together, and that's affecting you. Okay, so that's the second step. We work with ourselves, and then we work with the extensions of ourselves, and that's what we start to clean up as well too. We want to feel like we're connecting to our mom, and she's pristine. We want to feel like we're connecting to our father, he's pristine. Connecting to our siblings, they're pristine. Connecting to our friends, they're pristine. Old friends of the past, present friends, all pristine. Ex-partners, all pristine, right? So that's what we're doing. We're harmonizing everything, right? No stone is being unturned. We're harmonizing all of the extensions that represent ourselves, and we're bringing them into peace, right? We're just feeling content about everything. We're not saying we have to do cartwheels around the room because now I see my mom as the most divine, archangelic goddess there is. No, it's just the idea that you've cleaned out all of those old feelings that basically have caused you to label her as a bully, right? You're no longer seeing her as that. You're now seeing her pristine. Because whenever we see a person in that way, we feel that this person is like this and they're like that. In that sense, you're going through their behaviors. You're going through their characteristics. That's not who they are. They're spirit, just like you. And that's how you want to see them. All right? Just as Allison was saying, I'm seeing people as their higher selves. That's what you have to do. Right? If you want to really be in the non-dual, right? You are clean, and everybody who you feel is important to you in your life is clean to you as well. They may be living a scuzzy life. That doesn't matter. You don't see them as their characteristics. You don't see them as their personality traits. You don't see them as their behaviors. You see spirit. You see God, right? When you're looking at your animals, right? You have a dog, you have a cat. You say, oh, this cat's a little turd, and you know. Again, we want to get out of that. We want to get out of labeling, right? We're cleaning up. We're cleaning up everything. We're cleaning up our family, our perception of our family, our perception of our animal companions, our perception of our environment, our perception of the world. It's all being cleaned up, which means you're going to have to love those people who you feel you've hated, right? You're going to have to be completely content. You are waving a white flag and saying, I'm going to be completely content even with those people who I feel are wretched. Because again, if you're playing that game, you're playing with behaviors, you're playing with characteristics, you're playing with attributes. That's not who they are, right? You're looking at their canvas. Sure, their canvas may appear ugly in that way, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at their soul. We're looking at their spirit, right? That's what we are clearing up. This is more continued work, guys. We're not done. right? We're not even halfway through the BCR Technique 30-day challenge yet, okay? When we start to get into the shortened version and you start to look at that, there's still going to be times where you're going to do the original long version as well too. But you can do the shortened version because that can be kind of like a pick-me-up, right? The shortened version is intended just as a pick-me-up, right? It's to show you how to fill up your heart really fast with love, right? Without having to go through the entire routine. But like I said, you want to devote at least 2 weeks' time of getting used to the original version, okay? And then after you get those 2 weeks done, then when you go on to day 15, now you can start looking at BCR shortened version, okay? So I'll be talking about that more tomorrow, okay? Anders says, can the love energy increase in oneself by joining with other people's love energy? While there is no other people's love energy. That's the funny thing, Anders. There's only ever your love. You've never felt anyone else's love energy, right? That person that's showing you love is your own love coming back to you. There is no other, right? So the only thing you've ever felt in your entire life has been your love, right? When you have a very sweet person that's coming up to you and saying, oh, I love you, you're a wonderful person, and they give you a hug, and you're feeling this love, guess what's happening? Your love is opening up, okay? You've never felt another person's love because there's only love. That's it. There's only that one love that emanates through you. It's like an analogy of this. I'm sitting here in the chair, and here's my partner right next to me. It's my fiance, okay? Kelly. Kelly's sitting right across from me, and she's saying, Brad, I love you, right? Now, if I wanted to, I could just be like this. Okay. And not feel anything inside. Now, I'd be a total jerk for doing that, I know, but I don't feel that way, by the way. But nonetheless, she could be sitting right across from me and saying, Brad, I love you, right? Now, I could choose not to even listen to that. And I could feel like I'm still stubborn inside and my stubbornness reigns supreme, okay? But here's the thing that makes a difference. When I look into her eyes and I see her there and I see the love that I have for her, guess what opens up inside me? My love. Which means your ability to love someone can never, ever be outweighed by someone else loving you, right? Because you don't feel it. You have to have that open heart. When that heart is open and someone says, I love you, you're the best. Oh, thank you very much. Okay? What happened? When I go, oh, thank you very much, what happened? That love energy sprouted from within myself. Okay? There's nothing on the outside. Love does not come from the outside. Okay? My fiance is right here. Okay? Brad, I love you. It's not like this. Shh. No. Brad, I love you. I react to that. Aw, thank you so much. What happens? Shh. Love energy from the inside comes in. Aw, thank you very much. I love you too, right? There is no greater love than your love for someone else. You see that? There is no greater love than your love for somebody else. That's where love stems from. It is not about, being in front of 1,000 people. And those 1,000 people could be chanting, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Yeah, whatever. Right? Becoming very, very stubborn. We could do that. There's people like that in the world, right? And again, when we open up our heart, we feel that because there's a projection there, right? Our projection of 1,000 people saying, I love you, okay? Because that, again, is what we bring ourselves into. That's part of the sympathetic resonance. And it comes back, and we feel that love energy just radiating inside and out. So very important to remember, everybody. There's no love outside. It is a projection of love, yes. But the essence of love is inside, okay? This is what we're learning to get out of. Get out of the outside perceptions. Thinking that something outside is happening to me. That's an illusion, and that is wrong. Because that's not what's happening. Everything inside radiates out, right? So again, we can never fully understand ourselves because we are vast. We're as vast as the universe itself and beyond it, right? There are so many components to ourselves, but we are simply taking what we are able to recognize and harmonizing it. You see why this goes into a 30-day challenge, and it will be even longer after that when I start doing the newer practices. We've got a lot of things to cover, guys. We have a whole universe of stuff to cover. So it's about the idea of what you're able to recognize and bringing that into harmony, right? Bringing that into happiness, bringing that into joy, and it therefore just becomes contentment. Everything just balances itself out. I'm not saying you have to be, doing cartwheels and celebrating and throwing glitter up in the air every time you meet a person down the street. You're learning to be content, right? It's that contentment that is the openness of the heart, right? And there are some people that like to celebrate, right? They have that very loving energy, and they're very expressive. They're very sociable. That's great. That's your love at work. And then with the introvert, right? They're just kind of very, very quiet. They don't really say very much, but their love is profound, okay? I'm kind of in the middle between an introvert and extrovert. I'm kind of a neutral-vert, right? Kind of in the middle there. There's times where I can be talkative, like what you're hearing me now. A lot of the times when I'm just on my own, I'm very quiet, right? So again, we're all different, but nonetheless, love always comes from you. There's no brands of love, right? There's only the one love, and the one love comes within you. We may feel like there's a brand of love because we meet a person who's very, very bubbly and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, well, this is a characteristic, and that's fine. And it's a certain brand in that way, but it all just comes back to the one love. All right? Okay, let's see if there's any other questions here. Exactly, as Ender says, can you make your body supple like a newborn baby, right? Tao Te Ching. What is a good man, but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man, but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. Okay? That's something you really need to look into when you're looking into the Tao Te Ching, right? What is a bad man? What is a good man? Okay? He puts it in a very, very simple way, but that's the idea. They require one another. If they are not able to require one another, they remain separate. The bad man is the good man's job. The good man is the bad man's teacher. Right? That's how they, again, correspond and work in union together with each other. All right. Okay, guys, we're going a little long with this video today. I didn't want to make it this long. Just wanted to try and keep it under half an hour, but we know how things go. It's divine the way it is. It's all good. So thank you, everybody. Thank you again for being here today. And again, we'll be coming back tomorrow where I'll be talking about the introduction to the shortened version of the BCR technique. And then day 15, we'll be doing a demonstration with it. Okay, so tomorrow's broadcast will be at 10 a.m. Pacific because I am going to be doing New Earth TV Live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. All right, so join me at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow for the next day 14 of the BCR Technique 30-day challenge. All right, thank you, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.